Okay, I've made this video so that you have a review of the absolute and relative references that we covered, and you can start this, you can pause it, you can go back to the beginning, you can get to the part that you didn't understand, but use it for your learning. Okay, the first thing we need to do is take a look at our sample. We have 10 rows by 10 columns, which is a total of 100 numbers. We basically took a die, we rolled it 100 times, and we had all these different numbers come up. So we need to count our sample. We need to count how many times did 6 come up. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not going to sit here and count all these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Excel do it for me. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write down, okay, what were all the possibilities? The first one we know is number 1. Instead of writing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm going to come and in the bottom right hand corner, if I go to here, if I hover over that, I now have a plus sign. If I pull straight down, what happens is it's actually going to fill those cells, but it's going to fill them all with the exact same number. That's not exactly what we want, but it's close. I'm going to undo this, go back up here, get my plus sign back, and this time I'm going to hold down the control key. Now when I pull down, it's a little pop-up menu is going to come up, and I just click on Fill Series, and then I have numbers 1 through 6, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, from here we're ready to start with the formula. So I'm going to go ahead and click in this cell, and I'm going to start with an equal sign because every formula does start with an equals. Then I'm going to type in count if, and I'm going to choose this one, and you can see that within the parentheses the first thing is range, separated by a comma, and then criteria. Well, range means our whole sample, every single time we rolled, every single number we got. And our range is this whole yellow square. So I just select the whole thing, and then I enter a comma, and then it's asking for the criteria. Well, the criteria is I want to know how many times did 1 come up. So I just click on 1, and then I hit return. Okay, so it gave us, let me just put these in the center here. It told me that 1 came up 18 times. And I know that's right because I checked it earlier. So I'm going to take my formula now and I'm going to copy it down to the other cells. When I do that, I let go, and automatically by default, Excel is automatically going to copy a relative reference. Now what that means is this. Let's click on number 3's. Relative means it actually drops it down by the number of rows. So when we came down 2 rows for this formula, it actually came down 2 rows in our sample. And that is not exactly what we wanted because you can see it didn't count any of the 3's that were in the first 2 rows. So we need to back up and we need to change a few things here. What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete all these. I'm going to come back up to my formula, and this time we're going to make it an absolute reference because I absolutely only want the numbers that are in my sample. I don't want it to go above or below it. I just want those numbers. So to make something an absolute formula, you select, or reference, you select that part of the formula, and you're going to hold down the F4 key. And you can see that it toggles between the different options. The one we're going to choose is the absolute one where it just sticks our sample, and you can see that it puts a $sign before the column and the row number. This is what we want. When I hit return, the number is the same, but now when I copy this down into the other cells, now it is copied, it is stuck with our sample just the way it is. So if I go down to number 4, double click on this formula, you can see that because I've made it an absolute reference, it selected our sample just the way we wanted it. Okay, before we finish up, I want to point out one other thing. You will notice that the L5, which is a reference to the number 4 here, did change. It changed according to where that cell was located. And that's exactly what we want. We want those to change. So this is L2. This one should be L3, this number right here, and so forth. And we want that because we want it to tell us how many times 2 occurred, 3, 4, and so forth. Okay, that's the end of this video. In the next one, I'm going to show you how to count up all these times to make sure it totals 100, and we're also going to do the percentage part of it.